I think, of course, the visions of 2020 is quite large. But we're talking about a situation where Vision 2020 is in the efficient lifestyle of being able to get information and be able to do transactions which may be assisted by ICT. Of course, the ICT is definitely going to play a big and huge role in many instances where I'll say being an informed society and an informed citizen is one of the objectives of 20, knowledgeable. So being informed and knowledgeable also have to come to a situation of being able to get information as fast and as meaningful as possible. And of course, these are the traditional areas and foundations which ICT is actually built and to become what you call a major pillar of a knowledgeable society. Okay. Oh, what is the uptake of e-payments currently in Malaysia? I think let's try to define the word e-payments first. E-payments means paying for services or a transaction without using cash. Now, I think the idea about, the uptake of e-payments, that we look at it from that holistically as opposed to, general trends of e-payments, being able to do it on mobile, being able to do it on the phone, being on the internet. Then let's talk about paying without cash. I think the general public has actually moved away already from using cash as the main form of payments. Okay, I think the use of ATM cards, use of the internet, we have also the use of the touch and go card. These are all assisting in the various payments ability in the society. Touch and go will do what you call micro payments. Of course, consumer payments, which is quite large. You use a credit card, then of course the payments into bills. You can always use the internet to do that. But in that sense, I would say that in the general public, as where the urban Malaysia is, then the uptake is really high. Then you come to the situation where there is a sort of a digital divide in the country. You have got the urban versus the non-urban society. Then you have a situations of people still having what you call in-between people, services runners to go and help them to pay the tenaga bills, to pay the telephone bills, to pay the licensing bills. There is no, how do you call it? There's no actual quantifiable percentages of what is the uptake of e-payments, but you can say that we are generally on the uptrend. It's definitely used more widely today than 10 years ago, but has the general public actually used it up, then some real major research has to be done. Yeah. Well, I say that there was a major divide between the urban Malaysians and also the non-urban Malaysians. Naturally, we mean internet savvy and non-internet savvy. Now, the major preoccupations about the adaptations of e-payments would be security. There are way too much, shall we call it, rumor mongering cases, which are especially widely adapted in the internet, that says about stolen identity, about people hacking into their banking accounts, about people losing money all over. But those were the things of the past. The industry has actually moved ahead. Let's say, for example, credit card fraud. Credit card fraud was not so much about the situation where someone actually used your credit card, but it's just like someone has actually been able to steal the identity of your card and go and used it. The country has actually since 2000 and if I'm not mistaken, it was around 2004, we have actually adopted a whole new card, which is why today you see a credit cards which is like chip-based, and that has not been clonable. So credit card fraud is like down to 0.03% in the country today. And our country was one of the very first to adopt that, and that standards is called ENV. And then the second situation is about the internet banking, about people being able to hack in it. Those were things in the past, but I must say that the banking sector has actually improved themselves and have taken all these threats in stride and have improved their systems and the procedures to be able to handle that. Now, the idea is that whether or not the banking sector or the payment sector has the ability to be able to educate the public in large that, hey, look guys, this is actually quite safe right now. You will, if you actually follow certain procedures, you see. So I think education and also some evangelism needs to be done. When do I? Oh God, man, that's almost as good as asking me whether Jimmy Choo is going to be coming back to Malaysia or not. Well, now general trends were always there. It's always very difficult to put an actual date. When it's always very hard to pinpoint. But I would say that when generally people are better informed, I think if I were to say and more knowledgeable and as opposed to being very scared by sensational rumor-mongering activities, and also about the benefits of the e-payments, being able to save your time and all these things are more apparent and clear to the public, then I would say there will be maybe major rampant adoption of the e-payments as a payment method in the society. So the role that has to be done there is, of course, the industry leaders has to do that. The banks have to do quite a lot more. I wouldn't know if the government actually has a role or not, but I guess certain supportive role about saying that, you know, e-payments has got its benefits, and of course the fact that programs and incentive to say that when e-payments are adopted, your cost of transactions is of course lowered, then I think that those are things that can actually help it. But I would put it in a more quantifiable way when the public is less susceptible to sensational mongering news about security threats, and when they are more knowledgeable about the, shall we call it, the security and the safety of the system, then it will be more widely adopted.